Finally, this last part of option 2, go ahead and click on this particular link here. And it'll take you to this particular map here. And so what you want to do is you want to just kind of go find your particular country. Go, for in the case of Japan, go up and hover. You'll see how once you go to your particular country, it changes all of the maps. So wherever you're zooming, all of them get changed. And so what this does is all I'm looking for is, okay, where is the population in your country? Where do they live? And that's going to be mostly found here in this population density one. And so this using the areas of red or where people live overwhelmingly. And so you can make this bigger, I believe. So you can turn these off, the other ones off, so you can really zoom in. And that one also helps to make this one bigger. And so you can then find, okay, where in my particular country. And so I would identify this area. I would identify this area. And I start to notice a theme in Japan. So in your particular country, try to identify where people are living. And typically people live in kind of intelligent spots. They don't live where it's too hot. They don't live where it's too cold. They don't live where it's too wet, too dry, too high up in elevated areas. They typically like living in low-lying areas that are flat, agricultural areas, so agrarian areas. And so it makes sense that most of the Japanese population is not up in the mountains. It's somewhere coastal and in areas where it's somewhat flat. So if you look at a map of Japan, you'll see it's extremely rugged. And so this kind of, when you kind of tour your countries, where are they living? In China, they live along the rivers. Here in India, if this is your country, they live overwhelmingly up here. So you tell me about this particular area here. And so Egypt, overwhelmingly live here along the Nile River, and so forth. Israel, you have Israel overwhelmingly there on the coast of the Mediterranean. So that's just the idea here is, okay, earlier in the first part we identified the urban areas, those key 3 to 5 cities. Well, in terms of this settlement, in terms of this part 2 part of this option, explaining, okay, as far as why they live in those particular settlements. And that's where you just kind of use some this common sense, and you can maybe look at, at some Wikipedia as far as maybe there's some historical reasons. Maybe there's a historical legacy for why people live in this particular area of your country. So that's, also using some research, finding some historical influences as well. But mostly it's going to be some basic site and situation. Is it a good strategic location for a civilization to originate and to live throughout its time? All right, so that's option 2 of this activity.